Acharya Vande Sri Guru Hari Om Gyana Simarantya Gyananandjana So the first thing I would just like to tell you is that about 10 years ago, year 2000, I found out that I was going to be teaching Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhakti Vaibhav course, with Burijan Prabhu. So Burijan Prabhu told me, well, you should know what is in every chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I said, how am I going to know what is in every chapter? And then I got the idea, okay, I will make a picture of Bhagavatam at a glance. So I was thinking of different analogies of how Bhagavatam and Krishna. Then I thought, well, okay, maybe I should make a picture of the sun, because it's described, Bhagavatam is like the sun. And I was thinking of all the different analogies, but finally I realized the best thing is to show how Krishna is Bhagavatam and how each of the cantos fit into his personal form. And so when I was in Japa, I was traveling and preaching still, and I think it was in Radhadesh that I had this. Oh, it is actually Krishna is the form of the Bhagavatam, and the cantos are all different parts of his body. So I thought, okay, well, what should the cantos look like? And I thought, well, Krishna's body is compared to the lotus. Lotus feet, lotus eyes, lotus hands, lotus navel. So they should be lotuses. So I said, okay, we will make each of the cantos a lotus that matches with different parts of Krishna's form. There is one nice quote here about hearing the Bhagavatam, if I could find it. Yes, there's one purport in the first canto that simple hearing is not enough to hear Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says you must realize the text with proper attention. You have to really pay attention when you hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And Sutta, he drank Bhagavatam. Usually, if you drink some juice, which part of your body is drinking? Can you tell me? Mouth, very good. Now, if you drink Bhagavatam juice, which part of your body is going to drink? Ears. Yes. You hear, this is how you drink Bhagavatam, in the ears. So Sutta Goswami drank Bhagavatam, and then he could speak Bhagavatam. So to understand Bhagavatam, we have to drink with our ears, rapt attention. So Srila Prabhupada said that if you can hear Bhagavatam with attention, you will see Krishna. You will see Krishna in every page. Because each page, each canto, each verse, each chapter is a part of his body. So when you hear Bhagavatam, then you're meditating on different parts of Krishna's body. So then, Prabhupada explains that if you hear with rapt attention, from the very beginning you will see Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam. So now I want all of the children to stand up. We will see. See this poster? Is the microphone okay? Yeah. So you can see Krishna very clearly here, right? Now what I want you to do is, you see Krishna has 2 feet, 1 and 2. So you also have 2 feet, 1 and 2, right? Now the 2 feet are the first and second cantos. So we got first and second. First and second. Right. Okay, you got that. Now where's the first canto and second canto? First and second. All right. Now 3 and 4. 2 legs. Where are 3 and 4? Third and fourth. 4. Good. Now 5 is the navel. Where is 5th canto? Navel. Good. You don't have a navel. Maybe he doesn't know English. Okay. Sixth is his chest. Chest. Six.
Chest.
Okay. What is chest? Which number? Sixth. Okay, let's start again. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Now 7 and 8 are his arms. 7, 8. 7, 8. Okay. 9 is his neck. Ninth canto. Right? 10 is smiling face. Yes. The smile of Krishna is 10th canto because it's all about Krishna. So the face is the most beautiful part. When you look at the deities, then see this picture here. The most beautiful, of course, some people like the feet the most, but also the face is, immediately you look at their face when you see. So that's the 10th canto, it's the most beautiful part. So then after the face, 11 is the forehead. 11th canto. So what is the forehead? 11. And 12 is his head. 12. Okay, so we'll start again. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so can you show me? First,
second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th,
12. Very good. Can you show me?
first, second, third,
Fourth.
fourth, fifth, sixth,
Well, look at the picture. 6, yeah,
7,
8,
8, 9,
9,
10, 11,
yeah. Very good. Okay, you can sit down. Now later I will ask you some more questions when we are reading. So this, if you associate with Bhagavatam, you will get many things. Happiness. First of all, you'll get happiness. You will get the highest knowledge, the greatest knowledge, and you will get all good qualities. You will become a very nice devotee. So even if you don't have so many good qualities, but if you hear Bhagavatam with attention, you'll get all good qualities. So I would like to just sing a prayer for you from Sanatana Goswami's glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we will go through this prayer. Sarvashastra Tipiyusha Sarvaveda Prasad Sarsidandarakmadya Sarvalokagachripada Sarvabhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Kalitanta Chitaritya Shri Krishna Bhagavata. So I'll take this one verse at a time, one line at a time. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O nectar churned from the ocean of all the Vedic scriptures. So now, before in India, they used to have butter. You would churn the butter, or churn the yogurt, and you would get butter. But now I don't think they do this anymore. No, anybody here is from a village where they churn? Yes, they do. They? Oh,
Some parts they do.
some parts. But now you just go to the shop and get Amul or something like that. But before they used to churn. And they churned the milk. So many long years ago they churned the ocean of milk and they got many things. And this is the 8th canto. there's a picture here. I don't know if you can see from here. This is on page 66. And now in the 8th canto, they were churning the ocean of milk. And out from this churning came Lakshmi, and also some Airavata elephant. So many things came. Now who can tell me where is 8th canto on Krishna's body? Where? Yes, very good. Yes, his arm. 8th canto. So in 8th canto, so many incarnations are there. Vamanadev. You all know Vamanadev. That will be the second part of 8th canto. And Mohini Murti and Vanvantari and Ajita and Kurma. So many incarnations in the 8th canto. So by churning the ocean of milk, so many things come. But if you churn the ocean of the Vedas, Vedas is the greatest knowledge. If you churn it, what do you think comes out? Nectar. And what is that nectar? Yes, nectar came from the churning. Very good. Bhagavatam's the nectar you get when you churn the Vedas. That's the first line of Sanatana Goswami's prayer. You churn the ocean of the Vedas. So many Vedas. Then the nectar comes out. And that's Srimad Bhagavatam. The first thing. And the second thing, Sarva Vedaika Sattvala, most prominent transcendental fruit of the Vedas. So this is described in the 3rd verse of Bhagavatam. Nidama kapatara salitam phalam shukamupadamita tavasantam kivata bhagavatam dasam alayam uvarahora sita bhuvi bhagavata. Where's first canto? Yes, his feet. Lotus foot. So in the first canto, let's see if there's a picture of that. And that verse that I just sang is on the cover of, I think the front, yeah, the front cover. It's about how Bhagavatam is the transcendental fruit. So that verse is right here. You can see I put a lot of nice verses in the Bhagavatam so you can remember the verses. So here we have the first canto. The first canto is really wonderful because you see all the devotees, Kunti Devi, Bhishma, and then the Hastinapur devotees, Dwarka devotees, and also Arjuna, Krishna seated in Arjuna's chariot. So this is another analogy here. We got the nectar from the ocean, and now we've got a fruit of the desire tree of the Vedas. So I think ISKCON desire tree is named after this verse, perhaps, from Srimad Bhagavatam. That it is like a desire tree. If you go to ISKCON desire tree, you get so many wonderful fruits. Now, what is the most ripe fruit of the desire tree of the Vedas? The Vedas are compared to a desire tree. And the best fruit, the ripe fruit of this desire tree is what? Very ripe fruit, ready to eat.
Bhagavatam?
Very good. I will ask you every time. Bhagavatam is the ripe fruit of the Vedic tree, desire tree of Vedic knowledge. So it's the nectar when you churn the ocean. It's the fruit, the ripened fruit of desire tree. And one more thing. Sarasadamparatnabhya, enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusions. So there is a treasure chest full of jewels. And the treasure chest, again, is the Vedas, but the jewels are Srimad Bhagavatam. The jewels that you find in the treasure chest, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have nectar, we have a fruit, and we have jewels. Now what are these jewels? The jewels, the whole understanding of Mahabharata is there. The whole essence of the Vedas is there. And, oh, here's a nice verse. Now, where is Canto 12? Head, very good. Canto 12. This is, and actually we can start remembering, in every canto there's some incarnations. Remember Canto 8? Vamanadev, Mohini Murti, Kurma. Canto 12, Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya. Very good. Now, Canto 12, here's a nice verse. which I believe is also perhaps in here. Sarvavedanta saram Vishima Bhagavatam Ishite Sari Samrita Chittasya Nandatasya Gatim Kache. Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedic literature and Vedanta. Whoever tastes Bhagavatam is never attracted to any other books. That's what happened to me. When I was 7 years old, I started going to the library. In the West, they have libraries full of books, so many books. Here in India, I don't think you have. But in the West, they have, in every city and every small town, they have big, big libraries. So when I was 7, anybody here is 7 years old? Oh, wow, 3 of you. No, 7 years old. Then I started to read, and every week I would go to the library and take this many books out to read my whole childhood. And my goal was to read the whole library. But before that happened, I got Bhagavad Gita. And then I stopped my searching. I got Bhagavad Gita because after, you read Bhagavad Gita, but you can't understand, so you have to keep reading and reading and reading again and again. And then not only you can't understand it, but you find something new every time, so then you want to read again and again. So Bhagavatam, I got Bhagavatam, first canto, Bhagavad Gita, in 1970 when I became devotee. There were only a few books there. Nectar of Devotion, Bhagavad Gita, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Ishopanishad, and first canto. Where is first canto? Good. Yes, and first canto is about Krishna's devotees. So first canto is Krishna's devotees. 12th canto, who is that incarnation? Lord Chaitanya. And the 8th canto was Vamana. Very good. You are learning very nicely. Okay. So, any knowledge you want to have, you can go to Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says, astronomy. Now, astronomy we will find in 5th canto, and astrology in 5th canto. 5th canto. Where is 5th? 5? Where is 5th canto? Naval. Very good. He's first. Naval. All right. And 5th canto is astronomy. We get about the stars. And 5th canto, there is one incarnation, Rishabdev. Rishabdev. Okay? Let's see. We can find 5th canto. Rishabdev must be there. Yeah. Yes. Here we have, this is all about Rishabdev. Here, all of these. And then the second part is about astronomy. And you can see here, all about the stars, planetary systems. Here we've got all the planets here, and we've got the sun god and his chariot, and we've got Jambudweep. So you can study astronomy in 5th canto. What else? Politics. Politics. That's when you hear about the kings. 9th canto, I would say. Politics are in 9th canto. Now, where is 9? Who can remember? No. Neck, very good, neck. 9th canto. Now there's two one most powerful incarnation in 9, that's Lord Ram. Ram and Parshuram. Ram and Parshuram, very important incarnations in canto 9. Ram and Parshuram. Okay, who was in 5, we just said? Naval, and who was there? We got astronomy. And Rishabdev. Very good. And now in 1st canto, actually Krishna and his devotees. So it's a little confusing because Krishna, he comes in 1st canto also. So now here it says you don't need any other books. Sociology. Sociology is like how people live together. Now in 4th canto, Prithu Maharaj. Now where's 4? Who can remember where's 4th canto? Yes, there, good, one leg. So Prithu, he's in 4th canto. He's incarnation. He's teaching about sociology. He made the Varnashram system. And here he is. Oh, that's 5th canto. King Prithu, right. So that will be here in the 4th canto. You can study how he made Varnashram, how he cut down all the mountains. You know how he cut the mountains down? The earth was full of mountains, and he didn't like that, so.
Legs
No,
and
with his bow and arrow. He cut down all the mountains because they were getting in the way. He wanted to make farms, you know, and it's not easy to make a farm on a mountain. So therefore he had to cut all the mountains down. Now the Prachetas, they're also in Canto form. They had another idea. Now when they came out of meditation, they saw the whole earth was full of trees. So how did they get rid of those trees? Does anybody know? There's a picture here. I don't know if you can see it. But fire came out of their eyes and they burnt up all the trees. That's in 4th canto. They burnt up the trees because the trees were getting in the way of their agriculture. So they just burnt, not all the trees, but you know, we need some trees. But they burnt them. So this is going on in Bhagavatam. Then, Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu. O life breath of the Vaishnava devotees. Okay, I'm going to read something from Canto 12. And that is also in your book, I think, 12, 13, 18. This is a very, very important verse. This verse, now this is on page 125. I will just read it from my paper. No, I can't read it from my paper. 125. So this is a very important verse, and I'll tell you. Now, where is 12th canto again? Who can tell me? Yeah, head. Which incarnation? Lord Chaitanya. Very good. Okay, Lord Chaitanya. This is page 125. Srimad Bhagavatam Pranam Ya Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahansyane Kamamanam Jnanam Param Kirte Tattva Jnana Vidata Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmamavishkitam Tatshimam Sirpasam Vicharnaka Bhaktya Vimochyan. Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana. It is most dear to the Vaishnavas because it describes pure and supreme knowledge of the Paramahansas. Bhagavatam reveals the means for becoming free from all material work, together with the process of transcendental knowledge, renunciation, and devotion. Anyone who seriously tries to understand Bhagavatam, who properly hears and chants it with devotion, becomes completely liberated. Now, do we have a flip chart? I forgot about that. I would like to write something on the flip chart. Is it possible or is it impossible? No, I want to write. Do we write on this or is it?
The whiteboard.
Oh, we can write there.
Whiteboard.
Okay, so you can just put that up. Like. Oh, you have the whiteboard. Okay. Oh, that's convenient. Okay. Pen is there. Shinvan. Yeah. Okay, I want to write. Now this verse, this is on page 125. This has the key how to study Bhagavatam. When we were starting our Bhakti by Bhav course, we went to have darshan with His Holiness Mahavishnu Maharaj, a very elderly man. We asked him how to study Bhagavatam. He gave us this verse. And he said, so Shinvan, hearing. This is the last line of the verse. There are 3 words which explain how to study Bhagavatam. First is Shinvan, hearing. Then, Su Patan. Means to study or to chant. Read, chant. Supatan. So one way to study Bhagavatam is to sing the verses. So we've given some nice verses here. And Srila Prabhupada said that if you sing one chapter a day for 1 year of Bhagavatam, you'll become a scholar. So I did that. Here I am. I'm not a scholar, but I'm teaching Bhagavatam. So I used to chant one chapter every day of Bhagavatam for 2 years. And then I ended up teaching Bhakti Vaibhav Bhaktivedanta course. So it's very simple. Prabhupada's giving blessings to anyone who chants a chapter a day, hearing and chanting. Supatan means also to study. And then Vicharana Paro, that's the last one. Vicharana Paro. That means to think about, meditate, apply. So, Vicharana Paro is after hearing and chanting or hearing reading, then you have to think about what you heard, think about what you read, and how it is relevant to you, and how you can apply it to your life. So this is the most important, Vicharana Paro. And then, lastly, all of these together, this is the method of study, but there's one thing missing, which is the most important thing. All of these must be done with one thing. Can anybody guess? Of course, it's in the verse. If you have it, you can see. There's one more word.
Vaishnava, no? With Vaishnavas?
In the last line. Look at the last line of the verse.
Bhaktya.
Bhaktya. Bhaktya, with bhakti. With devotion. You must have devotion. Bhaktya. With devotion. So this is the method of study of Bhagavatam given by His Holiness Mahavishnu Maharaj, who is a great speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. And if you ask him any question, he will just quote a verse of Bhagavatam. That's his answer. So when we asked him how to study Bhagavatam, he gave us this verse. Three things. Shinvan, Suplatan, Vicharana Paro, Bhaktya. With bhakti. And so that is the most important thing. So in all your studies, when you use this book, and then with devotion, that will help. With our purpose in studying is to please Krishna. Make Krishna happy. Krishna likes to hear about himself. If you say his name, you say his glories, then what will happen? What is Krishna? Krishna will say, hey, who is that? Who is talking about me? Who is saying my name? Somebody is calling me. I must come. And then he will come and he will be with you. So this is the life breath of the devotees. And here, Prabhupada, on the back of this book, I have a quote from a lecture of Prabhupada. Don't waste time. As much as possible, try to hear Bhagavatam, Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very dear to the Vaishnavas. In Vrindavan you'll find they're always reading Srimad Bhagavatam. That is their life and soul. Srimad Bhagavatam is so nice. If you practice anywhere, any condition, simply by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you will be happy. So, if you're not feeling happy, then read Srimad Bhagavatam, and you will feel happy. It will help. Anybody has problem with depression, then just read Srimad Bhagavatam. And especially for you, it's very important. You're reading every day for the baby. The baby is hearing in 6th, 7th month. They start to hear. So yeah, I did when I had my son. When I was pregnant, I did twice. I went through Bhagavatam.
I did during his time.
Oh, that's why he knows. Very good. So these are your two sons?
No, just him.
Oh, he's your son. Okay, very good. All right, so then the next part, Kali Tvan Totitaritya Shri Krishna Parivartita. You are the sun which has arisen to dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga. You are actually Lord Krishna who has returned among us. So this verse, there's a verse quoted here, I believe, or maybe not. Anyway, it's a wonderful verse from Canto 1. Where is Canto 1?
Canto 1.
Canto 1. Lotus feet. Foot. And who is in Canto 1? Remember? Krishna and his devotees. Very good. Krishna and devotees. Okay, good. So there's one verse. Krishna swadama padate dhamma dhyana divesa kalona starishamesha purana katanotikaha. This Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun. It has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. So, okay, we have one sun, Srimad Bhagavatam. Is there another sun which has arisen in Kali Yuga besides Srimad Bhagavatam? Okay, and very soon will be Gita Jayanti. Another sun, we have many suns.
Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, okay. What else? Now, let's go into a different category besides books. Holy name. And two wonderful personalities. One is like the sun and one is like... Oh, Prabhupada, very good.
One day Sri Krishna Chaitanya.
Yeah, Nityananda Saharita, Gauradev, Vaishvanta, Chitra, Sanna. So Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda are like the sun and moon, which have arisen simultaneously. So it's described that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Surya Chanda Bahire Tama Sherina Bhagavastu Gatapata Sepakashe. The sun and moon remove the darkness of this world and reveal the external material objects like pots and plates. But Dvipai Hridaya Kali Antakar Dvibhagavat Shange Parava Shakar. So these two brothers, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, remove another darkness. So okay, we have the sun and moon here. They're removing the darkness of this world. What darkness do Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda remove? Where's the other darkness?
Ignorance.
Very good. Very ignorance. And where is this ignorance? In the heart. In your heart. So Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, they're another sun and they come in your heart. They rise in your heart and they remove ignorance. They remove darkness. Ignorance is like darkness and knowledge is like the sun. So then, what happens when they remove the darkness? It says, that verse says, they help you meet two kind of Bhagavats. There's the book Bhagavat and the devotee Bhagavat. Two Bhagavats. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, first chapter, verses 97 to 100. Is describe what happens when you meet Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. They come in your heart and they show, okay, here's Srimad Bhagavatam and here's the devotee Bhagavat. Then what happens next? When these two Bhagavats come in your heart, Bhagavatam comes in your heart and devotee Bhagavat, then you get bhakti rasa. You get love for Krishna. And then after you get love of Krishna, one more thing happens. Krishna becomes under your control. Then you get Krishna. You get Krishna in your heart. You capture him in the prison of your heart. He's a great thief. And then you put him in the prison of your heart. And you give him good punishment. And don't let him go. He cannot steal anymore. Okay. So then, this is what's happening in our heart if we hear Srimad Bhagavatam. We hear Bhagavatam and Krishna will come. Actually, that's also said here. Well, I think we will hear this later on. We'll read that later on. It's the second verse of Bhagavatam. We'll do it later. So there's a third verse of this prayer. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varsakshayate Savara Sarasevaya Sri Krishnaya Namastute. O Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer my respectful obeisances to you. By reading you, one attains transcendental bliss. For your syllables rain pure love of God upon the reader. You're always to be served by everyone, for you an incarnation of Lord Krishna. Okay, so now I'm going to give you an exam. Ninth canto is where? And who is in ninth canto? Two incarnations, and they both have a similar... Parshuram and Ram, very good. Okay, 12th canto. I told you. Lord Chaitanya. First canto. Devotees. Fifth canto. Naval. Rishabh. Fourth canto. Oh yeah, Dhruva. Yeah, but incarnation. Tana. My wealth. You are my only wealth. Manishtaraka. You are my deliverer. Madbhagya, my good fortune. In this world, people say bhagya means, okay, children, marriage, you go to school, you go to the West, this is bhagya. Or you have, TV, internet, and you are very fortunate. But real fortune is Srimad Bhagavatam. Because when you go to the spiritual world, you cannot take internet with you, cannot take your cell phone with you, you cannot take any of these things. What can you take with you? Huh? Bhagavatam, very good. And the holy name and everything that you heard in this life, that will go with you. And that will take you to the spiritual world. Now, there's, deliver, my good fortune, and Mad Ananda, my bliss. So if you study Tattva Sandarbha, it describes that the Vedas are very, very heavy. The Vedas are just like a guru, like a master, and they will give you heavy instructions. The Puranas, they are like a friend. They will tell you nice stories, and they will give you some moral to the story. And the Kavya, the poetic works, are just like a beloved husband-wife, like that. But Bhagavatam is like all three. Sometimes Bhagavatam is a guru, very heavy. Just like when Vyasadeva was unhappy, he didn't know what to do. And then his Guruji, Narada, came. And Narada started chastising Vyasadeva. You know what he chastised Vyasadeva for? Because he wrote Vedanta Sutra, he wrote the Vedas, he wrote Mahabharata. Just imagine, you wrote all these wonderful books and you get chastised by your Guru. So, what did he forget? He forgot to glorify only Krishna. So then he had to write Bhagavatam. Yes. And so this is, and the second verse of Bhagavatam is already kicking out 4 things which everybody wants in this world. 3 things everybody wants, and 1 thing some people want. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha, kicked out in the second verse. Dharma, projita, klaitavachra. All these are cheating. So Bhagavatam kicks out these things. So in this way, it is like a guru, like chastising, very heavy. No religion, actually, the Bhagavatam starts where Gita leaves off. There's a very important verse, one of the almost last verse in Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharma parityaja mamikam sharanam vraja. Does anybody know the meaning of this verse? Yeah? What does it mean? You know?
I know the translation.
Oh, what is the translation, please tell me?
Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear.
Oh, very good. Thank you very much. So, end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva dharma parityaja, you give up all this dharma. Beginning of Bhagavatam. Dharma projata kaitavatra. So it's connected. Where Gita ends, Bhagavatam begins. So now that you have given up everything, now you can hear Bhagavatam. Of course, even if you haven't given up everything, you can still hear Bhagavatam. But you may find yourself giving up everything after hearing Bhagavatam. It has that power, just like the holy name, to purify your heart. So, like a guru, like a friend. And we hear also in the story of Narada Muni how he went through his life and he was serving the great souls, and how his mother died and then he went alone. Nice stories are there. So we have also it's a friendly relationship with Bhagavatam, and then like a beloved, and that is, the beloved is 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. And I'll just sing 1 verse from there. It is very poetic. This 10th, where is 10th canto? Smiling face. Of Krishna. Yes, it's Krishna. Krishna's pastimes. Jai Tikam Jamana Sharatayendra Shashvati Dikshakam Dikshatarahas Tarvitasharas Tvam. So this is the song of the gopis after Krishna left in Vasudha. And they're glorifying Krishna. Your birth in the land of Braj has made it exceedingly glorious. So the goddess of fortune lives here, and only for you we are maintaining our life. So Krishna has left and gone, disappeared from the Rasa. So we've been searching everywhere for you, so please show yourself to us. So this is like a lover and a lover. Bhagavatam 10th canto is like that. It's like a lover. So this next, another verse is there, that's on page 89 of Canto 10. It's also from the Gopi Gita. It's Tavatatam Ratam Tapta Jivanam Kalitam Kamashapaham Sharamangalam Shimaratam Buddhinam Piye Buddha. The nectar of your words and description of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. These narrations, transmitted by learned sages, remove one's sinful reactions and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. Okay, now we will have our final exam. Yes?
Put the
Higher, this way.
Yeah,
It's coming. Oh, higher, okay. Again. Alright. I will eat the microphone. Hare Krishna. Haribo? Is it? Okay, Haribo. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, final exam, 10th canto. We will start with canto 12. 12? Which incarnation? Chaitanya. Okay, now we're going to canto 2. 2. And does anybody remember that? All the incarnations. And Chatushloki. Very good. Okay, canto 4. Ritu Maharaj. Where is 4? Where is 4? Not, yeah, late is good. Okay, 5. Navel, and who is in 5? Vishakdev, very good. Okay, 6 is chest. Chest. Who is in, now this is about protection, Poshana. Now who is the incarnation in Canto 6?
Narayan.
Narayan, very good. Narayan. Holy name, Ajahn Narayan. He chanted Narayan. So it begins with the protection of the holy name. 9th canto. Neck, and that is Ram and Okay, 11. Forehead. Now do you remember there's a special... No. 4 is Dhruva. Uddhava Gita. Very good. 7. We only said Nrsingadev. Where is 7? Nrsingadev. Okay, very good. 8. Okay. 3. Leg. That was a hard one. Kapila, and one more. Varaha. Okay, you're very good. So, the last verse of this prayer I'll sing to you, and then we will finish. Sadhu sadhu tadayena teni chachutaraka Harmunch kadachim mam prema vittantayasura. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O giver of saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the very fallen, please don't ever leave me. please become manifest in my heart and my throat, accompanied by pure love of Krishna. So this is a very nice verse that explains, if you hear Bhagavatam, you read Bhagavatam, you associate with Bhagavatam, then you will capture Krishna in your heart. But there's two qualities of hearing, and that is attentively and submissively. These two, if you have these two qualities, then you can capture Krishna in your heart. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that we must be anxious to hear Bhagavatam. The desire to sincerely hear is the first qualification. One becomes qualified to hear Bhagavatam after many pious deeds. But Prabhupada says that if you hear attentively, you can be assured by Vyasadeva, you can realize Krishna directly by hearing Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada gives another benediction that he says, without undergoing the different stages of realization in the Vedas, that means you have to be a karma yogi, jnana yogi, ashtanga yogi, this, that. You don't have to worry about that. You can be lifted immediately to position of Paramahansa simply by agreeing to receive the message. So Prabhupada is giving a benediction. You just agree to hear Bhagavatam, you'll become Paramahansa one day. Now, does anybody know what is a Paramahansa? No, you do not know. So you know what is a Hamsa? No. Hamsa is swan. Now, Paramahansa is the greatest swan. A swan, what a swan can do is if you give him some milk mixed with water, he will take up the milk. Yes. So a person who is a Paramahansa, like Srila Prabhupada, he will see a soul, a conditioned soul like us from the material world, and he will take out the milk and leave the water. So what is the milk? The milk is devotional service. Yeah, the soul, the spiritual. He will bring out our spiritual side, and he will leave away our material contamination. So if you hear Bhagavatam, you can become a Paramahansa, like that, a swan. And everywhere you go, you will just take out the spiritual, and you will leave the material. And you will take out devotional service. You will help people engage in devotional service. So now, I would just like to do one last thing. You can put this back up, this chart. We went through the whole Bhagavatam. I would just like to show you one more chart, and that is of the Rajalila. Next, this one. We'll take off the top and just leave the next one. Second one. Yeah. Okay, now this is the Brajalila. 10th canto. 10th canto is where? Krishna's face. Very good. So here we have an expansion of the smiling face. It is also like a lotus. And these are all the pastimes of the 10th canto. In the first 40 chapters, the Brajalila pastimes. That is this poster. And it starts with the birth of Krishna. And it goes this way. And then you come down to Komara Lila. Now, Krishna starts Komara Lila at the age of, actually he's a baby. Komara Lila is from babyhood until the age of 5, till the age of 5. So this is happening. Putana goes with Putana, this one, Trinavarta, all the demons come, and he kills them. Then Pauganda Lila is the age of 6, Gopashtami, and he goes through that Lila. And then Kaishara Lila when he becomes 10, 11 years old, and that's mostly with the gopis. So by following this, you can also see what is in the Braj Lila. There is another poster for Dwarka, I believe. Here. Mathura Lila. Ah, yeah, Mathura Lila. Don't seem to have it here. Okay, anyway, you can look in your books. Oh, maybe this is it. This is the big one. can, you can, which, no, that next one, next one. You can give me Dwarka. Should be one more. How many do, okay, show me what you have. Is that Dwarka,
Yeah.
Mathura? Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I just couldn't see it from here. Yeah, this is Mathura and Dwarka. Yeah, you can put it up there. So then this will take you, when Krishna leaves Vrindavan, like chapter 40, that was the last chapter of the Braj Leela, when Akura comes, and you don't say that word in Vrindavan, because the Brijbasis will not like you if you say the word Akura in Vrindavan. Because one poor devotee, he had that name Akura, and when they asked his name, they were not happy, because Akura takes Krishna away from the Brijbasis. So that happened at the end of the Braj Leela, and then Krishna went to Mathura and he killed the washerman, and he got the flower garlands from Sudama, many things. Then he goes and builds the fort in Dwarka. He marries all the queens, and then it's continued again in the book, the rest of the Dwarka Leela. And so you can use this book to remember what is there in the pages of Bhagavatam. It can help you remember. And it can also inspire you to read Srila Prabhupada's books. Because many people do not know what is in the Bhagavatam, in the different, where it is, what is in the different cantos. So by reading this, then you can understand what is there. And if you find something that you really like to know more about, then you can read Prabhupada's books. Get inspired to read Prabhupada's books. It will be very nice. So do you have any questions at this point? See, this is the end of the presentation.
The main concern here, like one of the things, because most of them are from homeschooling background.
Right.
This year they have started.
Yeah.
Some of them have read and have been hearing Srimad Bhagavatam regularly in various temples they are associated with. So when it comes to teach the students or children of different age groups,
Right.
what would be the right methodology which they can adapt or think on?
Okay, well, for all age groups, I would say to chant and hear is very good, first of all. Chanting and hearing is for all age groups. And then verses will be good. And then for the younger ones, they can color. It might be a little small, but it might be, not actually, probably a little bit older age group. They can start actually even coloring in, like the main characters or something, like the bigger pictures. They can use it like that. It will be good for them also, like the younger ones they can start with this book, and then the older ones can also have the Bhagavatam as well. And they can see the summaries here, then they can go to the summaries there, and they can read the verses as well as the Sanskrit as well as the English, like go through a chapter. And then, like looking at these pictures, they can just look at the picture and then tell what is there without reading anything. You just show them, okay, here's the picture, now what is there? What is happening in that canto? Just by looking at the pictures. You can go through the whole Bhagavatam. Like with the Gita, it's like that, verse by verse in Gita, so you can actually tell what's in every chapter. Then we're doing, first canto is completed, a picture for every verse. So once that's done, then they can use that as well, like go through the pictures and show, okay, well here's what's in the first chapter, picture verse by verse. Just by looking at, because when you see a picture, then you remember easier, yeah. They can color the pictures, they can also do like that. But I would say the older age group, they should also keep Prabhupada's, they should read the purports and be able to explain. Like the younger ones, they can just say, like, the one sentence, what is in the picture. Now the older ones, they can use the picture and they can explain philosophical concepts and what's happening and what's the conversation about. As Narada is asking, okay, what is he asking and what are the answers? So with the older ones, then you bring in more Prabhupada's books and have them explain the topic, the philosophical. And that will be actually in the future books that are coming now, verse by verse. So they can just look at the pictures and explain the whole chapter and what it's about. Yeah, I would say coloring. I don't know, it might be too small to color, I don't know. But they could color like the main character or the big picture in the top. They can color the main pictures, and they can even write. Like what I've done with the Gita is make it in poetry form. They can write their own poem or their own, in their own words, or what they see. And they can even draw their own. They see this picture. They can draw a bigger picture. They can draw their own picture, like in a bigger size. They'd say, okay, now I want you to draw the first chapter. I want you to draw the first canto. Just make a picture of the first canto. Show me what's in the first. Draw the second canto. Draw the 10 topics. If there's an artistic type, they can draw. If they're more like a writer, then they can write, like in a story form. But there's things you can do. Or you show them the pictures and say, okay, now which canto? What is this? Well, you can tell them the canto, but then, okay, what chapter is this about? And what does this describe? And what's the next chapter? And what's before? And what section? I think we do it by sections. Yes, there are sections. So what chapters? Well, we have a section here, Kardama and Devahuti. Now, tell me what is in that section. Or you can look at the picture. If you need help, you can look at the picture and tell me what is going on here. Like that.
Many devotee parents have been asking me that most of them, like we have certain facilities where this kind of sessions are going on for children. But after some time, it is found that they have memorized the whole leelas or the stories alone. But there is hardly any transformation in their behavior or thinking pattern. So when you start telling any story, they will say, oh, we know this Prabhuji, or we know this Mataji. Go ahead, tell me something.
That's a very important point. So how I'm teaching now, when I teach Bhagavatam, like I just recently was teaching prayers of Queen Kunti. So every day I would say, I would give the class, and then I will give homework. Okay, now today we heard how Kunti is seeing Krishna inside, outside, and everywhere. So today, classes in the morning, now today I want you to see Krishna. I want to see how you are seeing Krishna. And see Krishna in your family. I want you to see Krishna in your family. I want you to see Krishna outside and inside. And so you also tell the children, okay, now you take them for a walk. Now, where is Krishna here? Can you see Krishna? Now, is that tree? You see that tree now. How are you seeing Krishna in that tree? How is that tree reminding you of Krishna? And you see the sun. You have to give him practical application. If you only just memorize, then what's the use? If you don't apply it. So that's how I do now. And then, so when Krishna Kunti was, I give homework when, how she is praying. She's very grateful to Krishna for protection. So I say, okay, today you're going to see how Krishna is protecting you. And you have to give they have to apply it or else they won't change. It's a fact. Okay, how is Krishna's mercy coming to you today? What kind of, the question I was asking with mercy, because Prabhupada in one purport he says, Krishna's mercy is coming, but we are reluctant to receive it. So then I asked, okay, what mercy are you reluctant to receive? You go through your day today and you see which mercy you don't want to get. So you have to give the homework like application homework, where they look at the world and they apply what they heard that day. Okay, suppose you learn today a verse from Bhagavad Gita. Tam stitikshasva bharata. Okay, tolerate. So today we are going to practice tolerating. And there's lots to tolerate. It may be the weather. It may be somebody, kids, they smack each other. Some kid smacks you. You're going to tolerate that, or you're going to smack him back. Yeah, so you have to make it application. For myself, it's no problem. I find wherever I speak, then I get tested on that. For the teacher, the exam is, okay, you said that today, let's see. If that's what you're supposed to give up everything for Krishna. Okay, if I take this away from you, are you ready? So that's actually, but you have to make some application every day of what they're, okay, you memorize this, right, okay. But, okay, one verse or some topic, whatever the topic may be. Now today we're going to look in our life and we will see how this comes in our life, how this philosophy comes, how this, you take them for a nature walk and you explain, how the birds, how is the bird, you take them and the game is to see how it relates to Krishna, how is that bird, the sound of the bird. Yeah, in Vrindavan it's easy, it's the parrots. Now it's time for the parrots to come and give their messages where Krishna is going to be at night. These are the parrots, they come at around 4 o'clock. But in the West it might not be so easy. Or in Bombay, I don't know. The buses are coming, and the cars, and the exhaust fumes are coming.
Bombay.
In Bombay.
So many crows.
So you guys, yeah, so, okay, well, there you go. Yeah, but you have to find Krishna somehow. And the children, everybody, they have to be able to find Krishna. Now, it's a fact that you need to be in some natural surroundings as well, at least once in a week, for proper growth. I mean, in the first canto, Prabhupada says, these parks, this is for your mental development. It's good for spiritual development. The children should have access to some natural surroundings as well. And you take them, and then there was this one father, when I was in Ireland, he took his daughter shopping in the big city. They live in the farm, away from everything. And he was saying, you see those people? They're karmis. They are suffering so much. They are working very hard day and night. And they don't know Krishna. And they have no idea. So his 7-year-old daughter said, why don't you tell them about Krishna? Practical application. And the father said, well, I am. So, I mean, you also learn when you take your kids out. And so you're a devotee father, devotee kid, and the kid is preaching to the father. But yeah, you take them out and, and yeah, try to distribute a book with them. Have them distribute a book, and they would have to explain why it's a good book and why people should read it and what's in it, and this is a practical application, exercises that can be done. That's the most important, this vicharana paro, that is how to apply. And it's true, if you don't apply it, you won't change. You just memorize it. I mean, it's nice. I mean, hearing is good. Hearing is always good. It's a mantra. Some stage in your life, you will apply it. But if you want quicker results, then you have to practice applying it. To practice. Another exercise I do with Kunti's prayers is, okay, today I want you to do something to make Krishna happy. What are you going to do today? And it's like oftentimes we just do our devotional service like a duty, like mechanical. I say, okay, today you're going to chant, not just to finish, but you're going to chant, and when you chant, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to make Krishna happy with this chant. Or some service you're doing. So it's like you have to think how to apply it. Every day, they can, or once a week, or you can have a weekly theme. Okay, this week we are going to see Krishna in different ways. In the heart, in our heart, in the hearts of others, we're going to see Krishna outside, in the nature, in the buses, in the cars, in Bombay buildings. We're going to somehow find Krishna. So that is the challenge. The teacher has to make it meaningful. And thinking of a way that they can apply it. The next day they have to, and if they don't do their homework, they have to keep doing the same homework. How to see Krishna. And then they can do it by writing, by drawing, by singing. Anyway, the application is important.
Sometimes I take children or young brahmacharis on a tour and speak about light of Bhagavatam.
Oh, that's good,
So
yeah.
then they can understand.
Mhm.
Because these days, many of them even don't have the literary background that what does that actual thing mean.
Mhm.
Like what Prabhupada is describing in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Right. Yeah, Light of the Bhagavad. He wrote for the non-devotees. He wrote that so they could see in the nature, in the land, in the sky, in the water, see Krishna like that.
And the third question I had was about making this habit, like as you mentioned that if you read one chapter every day, how can one, because considering Bombay as a city and the traveling time which is required to go to the workplace, come back, family things, ISKCON related social things, in spite of all these things, if one is expected or one has that desire to specifically read Srimad Bhagavatam.
I'll tell you one thing. If you have the desire, you'll do it. I was Pujari in Calcutta, 20 hours a day, seva,
Okay.
sleeping 4 hours. I had the desire to memorize chapters of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and I did it because I had desire. All it takes is desire. And then time will be your servant. You'll find the time. Myself, I was Pujari, then I was distributing books, then I was a mother, and there's never time to read. But if you have desire, you'll find the time. I always found the time, because that was the burning desire to read these books. I read 10 times all the books, although I was doing all the seva. And after 24 years, it became my seva to read the books. And I was very happy. Oh, now it's my seva. But in the meantime, I was always reading. Whatever, I had my child, and then I had my baby, and I was reading, hearing. I was selling books too. When I had a small baby, I was like 40 years old, and I had a small baby, and I was still reading and distributing books. And always time I found time. That desire, then you have to cultivate the desire, and if you have the desire, then you will find the time. And Krishna will help you find time. I'll tell you, when I was in Bombay, I was doing shop-to-shop book distribution in downtown Bombay. I would take the train every day from Juhu during the rush hour morning, go downtown, rush hour evening, come down. So on the train, I would read the whole Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit, going and coming. Just a little Sanskrit book. Then I would just read, going, coming. So every day I would read the whole Gita on the train. In the rush hour, going, coming. And then I would distribute books the whole day in the, shop to shop. It was a little cart. Yeah. I would just get off at Church Gate every day and then go back to Juhu. Rush hour morning, rush hour evening. I would go first class. It wasn't so crowded, but still. It's not so easy. But, yeah, so I found the time. Of course, you probably have to drive, so you can't read while you're driving. Then you have to memorize. So while you're driving, you can say your slokas.
Now, of course, we have more facilities.
And now you have, we didn't have tape recorders also. We didn't have money, We had nothing, no computer, no tape recorder, no cell phone, no iPod. I just had to read it, Nothing here. We didn't have these little earphones. And now you have no excuse. You can hear lectures, you can hear the Bhagavatam, just put it on your earphones. You can hear everything, You don't even have to read. I forgot about that. We didn't have all these things. Even telephones didn't work, mostly. They weren't working. I was in India since '72. The telephones weren't working in Calcutta. And we didn't even, of course we had a telephone in the temple, but useless. 10 times you have to dial before you get the number, and then it doesn't, you can't hear the person. Anyway, now it's different. You have high technology, you have the internet, you have so many pocket. I saw Adi Puru, she had a little telephone with a little computer thing, just like this, like in the hand. I said, wow. He was doing everything. Yeah, so you can do. Yeah, but you have so many things that you get confused, you know. Then you forget the desire. What am I supposed to do? Your cell phone rings, your iPod is telling you something. Yeah, it's more difficult in that way. So you have to make, it's just like now you have, the senses is one problem in the mind. Now you've got all these other things that you have to control. It's an extension of your senses, you know, and your mind. It's like now you have to control your cell phone and your iPod and all these things. The extension of your senses, big extension. You can talk to anyone in the world, and you can get anything. But so you have to now master of the senses, master of all this technologies. It's really good. So we are fortunate in one sense that we didn't have all this technology. It was more simple. We had to read and chant and all these things. So any other
Anything
question?
mothers would like to ask some practical things or Gurukul teachers? There are some Gurukul teachers here. So,
In the class, all these methods,
What's that?
teaching in a class,
Mm-hmm.
Bhagavatam,
Yeah.
what age should we start? In a school practically.
Yeah, you can start from the youngest age. They can learn where are the parts of the Bhagavatam, what is in each one. If they learn that, then you can go further to the chapters, what is in every chapter. They can start very young.
I have two sons, both are different ages. I
Different
can teach
ages.
them together, both of them.
Sure. Yeah, you can teach them together. He will pick up, the smaller one will pick up.
We should have a question answer session also with the children. Question answer
Yeah? Do you have
session.
questions?
We should have a question answer session with the children after we finish one portion of the.
Oh yeah, that's good, yeah. Ask them, see what they learned. And another way they can remember is to tell somebody. If they go home, tell your mother, tell your father, tell your friend what you learned. And that way they'll be preachers already. They can tell their friends, they can tell their mother, father what they learned. But this application is really important. You can start young with the application. But then, if you tell them stories, then, okay, what did we learn from Prithu? What did we learn from Dhruva? How determined Dhruva was? He was so determined to get his kingdom. But he got the best thing. He got Krishna. Yeah, so you can learn, you study, and you see what qualities are there in each of the stories, what qualities to be learned. Yeah, and then have them apply that. Determination. They can apply the quality of determination. It's good to be interactive with the students.
anything else?
Memorizing of the verses, they should be
You can memorize verses, yeah. We gave some verses here. There are verses you can get from the Bhakti Vaibhav courses if you like. What are the important verses? If you want to know. The sloka books have the important verses.
Yes,
Sloka books. That would be the best source actually. This Bhaktivedanta Uchast sloka book
Shloka.
is a good one. So if you want to know what slokas, then you can look in there. They have the best slokas. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
So we thank Narayan Mama and encouraging us, because she was actually busy in the japa retreat and government retreats. But just because we were here and we requested her, she found out some time. And we pray to Srila Prabhupada and we seek her blessings so that we can imbibe some of her qualities and start reading Srimad Bhagavatam seriously on a regular basis and inspire ourselves and the next generation.
Once there was a lion and he was sleeping, and he was sleeping under a tree, and in that tree there was a house, and in that house there was a mouse, and the mouse started playing on the lion's head. The lion woke up and started chastising him. What are you doing? You are standing on the, you are irritating me. Now I will eat you. This is not nice. The mouse prayed and prayed, but nobody was to listen. So the lion said, so the lion agreed and said that never come near me again. One day the lion was sleeping, then a hunter came and put a net on, and he put a net on the lion. And the poor lion was in the net. He cannot go anywhere. So when the rat saw this, he was very kind, like a bhakt. He came and started cutting the net. Suddenly the lion saw him, and then he was surprised that the net has been cut. So he thanked him and both became friends. The lion understands the moral of the story. The moral of the story is the kindness is never wasted.
The title of my story is The Wolf, the Fox and the Grapes. The Fox and the Grapes. Once a fox saw a bunch of ripe grapes, and the grapes were looking as if it with juice and as if it is going to burst. And the fox's mouth watered. The fox jumped higher and higher and higher, but he could not get it. So he got an idea and went a little behind and tried again to catch it. But still he could not get it. So he thought, what a fool I am. These grapes are sour. And I'm simply running behind it. And he walked away scornfully. The moral of my story is there are many who pretend to despise and belittle that which is beyond their reach.
Start.
The title of my story is The Wolf and the Shepherd Boy. Once a shepherd boy had many sheep. Then
Continue.
अरे यार.
Start.
The title of my story is The Wolf and the Shepherd Boy. The shepherd boy had many of his sheep, and he found shepherd life extremely dull. Either he could talk to his friend the dog or play his shepherd pipe. One day he thought of a plan how to engage himself. So his master had told him that whenever a wolf attacks the sheep, immediately call for help of the villagers and they will shoo it away. So immediately he ran to the village shouting, "Wolf! Wolf!" All the villagers ran to save him, and then before they could come, the shepherd boy was doubled up with laughter.
Oh, you did like this, you fool! I will never come again.
Then, a few days later, again the shepherd boy shouted, "Wolf! Wolf!" Again the villagers ran to the shepherd, the sheep, to shave him. And then, again just to be laughed, the shepherd boy again teased him and flew him away. One day, it was evening. The sun was setting and the creepers were creeping out. Then one real wolf attacked the sheep. He immediately, in fear, he ran towards the village, shouting, "Wolf! Wolf!" Then no one arrived. They said, "You can't fool us again." Then he very much of sheep he killed, and then again disappeared in the creeper. The moral of the story is liars are never believed even when they say the truth.
Start.
The title of the story, Bundle of Sticks. There is one man. They have many sons. Every son is fighting every day. Then that man said, brought one bundle of sticks. Then one boy broken.
Try to break.
Try to break. Then they don't
They cannot break.
they don't break. Then they give one sticks to everybody. Everybody broken.
Everybody break.
Everybody break.
So we explained that unity is
Moral
Moral.
moral of the story.
Unity is strength.
Unity is